Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I just want to thank all my old subscribers and welcome my new subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. So we've had quite a bit of rain over the past few days, and now the temperatures are getting cold again. In June, we had a low in the 40s. It's crazy weather here in Michigan, but I have been able to go into my garden and harvest some produce that is ready to eat, or can in this case, now. So as you will see, my radishes, which have just exploded, they have virtually taken over. And my spinach, I've got to harvest that as well. And pretty soon here, it will be kale and some other things that are ready to be picked and eaten or canned. So here are my radishes and carrots together. And as you can see, they're probably a little bit overdue. They're a lot bigger than you would probably pick them. But yeah, so I think they're ready to be picked. And in this case, I'm going to be fermenting these. So I'm going to get to picking these, get them inside, get them washed up, and get them ready to be fermented. And I'll take you through what I'm going to do there. And I'm going to also pretty much pick my spinach, because that's probably ready to be done as well. And here is my little spinach patch. And as you can see, it looks like it's ready to start to flower because I've left it so long. But I mean, it's been raining, so that has boosted its growing time. So here are my radishes that I'm going to take it to the house and start canning. So first of all, of course, I'm going to wash them off. I cut off the tops and the bottoms, and I have a little vegetable brush that I'm going to rinse them and wash them really good. I have 2 quart-sized jars that I have a red onion and a garlic, and I'm going to put one with some dill in it. I have a recipe that calls for dill. I'm going to do one with dill and one without dill. And these 2 pounds that I picked of radishes should fill up these jars nicely. So if you have a mandolin, that will help or speed up the process of cutting the radishes. I mean, if you don't, it's not 100% necessary. You can just use a cutting board and a knife. I think I resorted to that in the end anyway. So I'm just going to start with the big ones. Watch your fingers. This thing is so sharp. I'm almost scared to use it. It's so sharp. But I'm going to start with the mandolin, and I'm going to end with the cutting board and the knife, because some of them are so small that I don't really want to put them on the mandolin and try to cut them that way and probably end up cutting myself. So I'm just going to run them through, get them all processed, and then I will be back to show you how I layer them in the jar. It's basically simple. This is probably one of the easiest way to preserve your food going. You just prepare your vegetables, put them in a jar, prepare your brine or whatever you're going to use, and pour it in and just leave it. You can leave it for a week to 14 days, depending on how you like it. The more it ferments, I think the softer it gets. I don't think the taste actually gets more intense or less intense, if that makes sense. But it's all your personal preference, basically. How much of each items you put in, like garlic, onion, dill, as well as whatever seasonings you opt to put in. Okay, so I have everything here ready to go. I have my 2 quart jars. I have probably about a quarter of that big onion you saw chopped up, coarsely chopped up. I have about 2 pounds of radishes sliced. I have some lukewarm water, and I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I have pink Himalayan salt that I use, so that's what I'm going to use. think I have some kosher salt somewhere, so maybe I'll do that in the second one because I'm going to do a brine. I'm going to try to do it two different ways. A brine in the second one, and then just water and salt in the first one with the dill. And then I have my my garlic chopped up. And this is about 9 cloves because I want to divide it into the two. So into the two, I'm going to put, of course, the radishes, onions, and garlic in both of them, and then just dill in one of them. So the dill, I'm just going to put the warm water and salt, and the one without dill, I'm going to put a brine. And I'll put a ingredients or a recipe down in the description for how I do my brine. And I think I've showed you that before in a previous video. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to start filling up my quart-sized jars with my radishes. And I wanted to show you these tops. I'm waiting for my order of the pastel tops with the nipple on it. That I ferment too, but I found these in Walmart, and they are bowl, and they have a little gasket here that I guess releases the gases in there, and that's all they are. So these were wide mouth, so that's why I chose wide mouth for those. So I'm just gonna get my radishes filled up. You just drop them on into the sterilized jar, and about halfway or so, I'm gonna layer in some of the garlic and the onion, and I'm going to get that done. So these are my quart-sized jars, all layered up with the radishes, onions, garlic, and in the one dill. And this is what I had left out of the 2 pounds of radishes that I cut up. That's the little bit that I have left. I'll put them over salad and eat them raw. And now I'm going to pour in my liquid in the first one. Now this is just the water, the warm water, and the pink Himalayan sea salt that I have in there. And I'm just going to pour it over so it comes up to the top of the vegetables, and the veggies are submerged in the water completely. So here is the brine I made for the second quart, and I just used this pickling mix from bowl that I found at one of my local grocery stores, and it has peppercorns, all sorts of different spices in it, and I just mix it up, and it's going to go into the second jar to where it's, again, completely submerges the veggies, and that's it. Let it sit for 7 to 14 days, depending on how you like to eat it. So here are my fermenting radishes in their respective brines, and I'm going to sit them in a cool, dark place for at least 7 days before I try them. Here they are 2 days later, and as you can see, the water is now pink. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos.